Okay, we've got 120 volts going into this transformer, and this is a 36 volt transformer, and typically when we get a little more voltage out, we're getting 41.2 or .3, and right now I've only got AC hooked up to this. Nothing else is in the circuit except this 5k ohm resistor. Now, for the unit that we're going to run, we need 35 volts. It's a circuit board and it needs 35 volts DC. So let me hook up this bridge rectifier. There's our positive, there's our negative output. Okay, and the AC goes to 2 pins in the center. Now hook up our DC here. Change this to DC. And there we do have our 35 volts. Well, that's fine. And it wouldn't look real pretty on a scope because it's kind of bumpy. There's no filtration. Well, here's the problem with what we're working with. This is 100 microfarads at 160 volts. When I put in filtration, look what happens to the voltage. It jumps up to 54.4 volts, and that is burning out the boards. So what we need here is a regulator. Let's take a look at the circuits that we had in that video. We started with just the transformer hooked up to a 5k ohm resistor, and we had 41 volts AC across that resistor. Then we added a bridge rectifier, and across the resistor we now have 35 volts DC. And while we're here, let's take a look at what's inside that bridge. If you take a look at the secondary of the transformer, when the polarity of the output is like this, these two diodes in the bridge conduct. And when the polarity of the secondary of that transformer is like this, the other two diodes conduct. Okay, we have our 35 volts DC across that 5k ohm resistor. Now the problem is when we put a capacitor from positive to ground, a 100 microfarad capacitor, that voltage jumps to 54 volts. Well, to solve that problem, I mentioned in the video that we would need a regulator, and it would look something like this. Now notice that that capacitor is changed to 1000 microfarads. In a regulator, the left pin is the input, the center is ground, and the right one is the output. Now this would definitely regulate that 54 volts to 35 volts and be pretty smooth DC, but I would also recommend adding another capacitor on the output. Here I have 470 microfarads. Now that would ensure some very smooth regulated DC across the load, in this case the 5k ohm resistor. Thanks for watching.